Good morning, Hayom Yom, Tes Iyar, the 24th day of the Omer. So today's Hayom Yom is one of the most fundamental ideas in Chassidus. And that is, there is a concept in Judaism known as Hashgacha Pratis, divine providence. And generally what that means, generally the way people explain that, is that Hashem runs the world. Hashem is the only one who makes anything happen. So anything that happens to us in our lives, anything that happens to me, anything that happens to you, it didn't happen by chance, but Hashem made it happen. Hashem has a plan. There's a reason why it happened. And even when you were expecting your life to turn out a certain way, you were hoping that something in your life would turn out a certain way, and it went a different way, things turned out differently, not the way you wanted, a person has to realize that it's Hashem who made that happen. And Hashem does everything for a reason, Hashem does everything for a purpose, and there's a plan here, and it's happening for a reason, it's happening for a purpose. And just to elaborate on that a little bit, what that means is that we believe and we know that Hashem could see the future. Hashem in any situation could see every possible possibility, every possible outcome. So before Hashem makes anything happen, before Hashem chooses how things should develop, He entertains every possible outcome, every possible possibility, including the outcome that you were hoping for yourself. And Hashem weighs all these millions and trillions of outcomes against each other, and He sees the pros and cons for each one, and He chooses the best outcome, the best possibility for you. Which means He looked at the possibility and outcome you wanted for yourself. He weighed the pros and cons of that against the outcome that actually happened. And He decided that what happened is going to be better for you, is better for you, is the best possible outcome and possibility for you, whether you see it right now or not. And therefore, a person has to go through life not so worried about what's happening, not so nervous about things, with faith and belief that everything that happens, it happens for a reason, it happens for a purpose. Everything that happens to us, from the big things in our lives to the small things in our lives, happens for a plan. There is a plan. Now came along the Baal Shem Tov, though, and took the idea of Hashgacha Pratis to the next level. And he explained that Hashgacha Pratis is not just a passive mindset, it's not a passive belief, but it's an active mindset. And he said that the whole world is like one giant classroom, and God is our teacher. And God's a very dynamic teacher. All of life is like one long field trip. And he said, everything that happens to you in life, everything you experience, everything you encounter, everything you see, everything you hear, is a lesson from Hashem. Hashem is trying to send you a message, is trying to teach you something. It's a communication from Hashem. And Hashem, the teacher, only cares about conveying one message, conveying one idea. The only thing this teacher cares about is making sure that we, the students, are the best people we can be, the best Jews that we can be, that we bring Mashiach. So therefore, all of God's lessons, everything Hashem teaches you, He's trying to drill in one point. He's trying to get to one point, to one conclusion, to one outcome. He's trying to make you a better person. And therefore, everything you see, everything you hear, anything is meant to teach you how to be a better person, how to be a better Jew, how to grow. It's meant to give you perspective. And when you live in this way, the world becomes a very different place. Whatever you're doing, you're walking down the street, you're overhearing a conversation, you're reading a book, you're watching the news, you see something on the internet, everything is a message from Hashem. Everything is meant to teach you and give you perspective and show you how to be better, how to grow. You're meant to learn from everything. And everything is meant to reinforce the truths of Torah, the truth of Chassidus, the truth of Hashem. When you read something, when you see something, you're like, oh, that's what Chassidus meant. That's what Torah meant. And you start seeing the truth of Hashem, the truth of Torah, the truth of Chassidus in everything, in the entire world around you. And you walk down the street and it's a different world out there. It's a radical way to live. And the Rebbe actually at Friediker once said this idea, and he asked, why does nobody live this way? The Baal Shem Tov taught us that this is a way to live. This is an active way a person is meant to live. You're meant to be walking around, looking at everything, and helping everything, and seeing in everything truths, and learning from everything. And the Rebbe once made a nice twist on this idea, and he said, based on the idea, when you see the same thing twice, when you see the same thing every single day, multiple times, he said, it can't be that you're meant to have the same takeaway every time, that you're meant to learn the same thing, because you already learned that lesson, you already had that takeaway. So he said, even when you see or hear the exact same thing, the exact same phenomenon, every time you see it, you're meant to learn something new, a new detail. You're meant to take away a new nuance, a new twist. So that's the concept. And in the source that this is taken from, the Friediker Rebbe tells us how once he was walking with his father, and they were discussing this concept, and the Rebbe Rashab told him, his father told him, that this concept of the Baal Shem Tov, that this way of living, that everything you see is meant to teach you something, is meant to help you grow, he said, this is the fundamentals of Chassidus. This is the Aleph Beis of Chassidus. This is the ABCs of Chassidus. But then he said, it's a very hard ABCs to learn. It's a very hard ABCs to adapt and to adopt. He said because many languages, their ABCs are very easy to learn. But some languages, the ABCs are a little bit harder to learn. And the ABCs of Chassidus are very, very hard ABCs to learn. To actually incorporate this takes a little bit of effort. So that's what the Rebbe Rashab told him. Then they kept walking. And after a while the Rebbe Rashab was lost in thought, he came out of his thought. And he said, the Baal Shem Tov told us this truth. The Baal Shem Tov told us that every last thing you see is meant to teach you a lesson. Every last thing you see contains meaning. And we believe in the Baal Shem Tov. And if the Baal Shem Tov said it's true, it must be true. Every last thing you see, no matter what it is, from the great things to the small things, everything has a lesson, everything has a takeaway, everything is meant to help you be a better person, grow as a Jew, and gain perspective. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.